What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. Listen, I have to talk about this fight. I watched the show yesterday and it was kind of funny. I had to split screen watch. Okay, I watched UFC 300. This is the one fight I want to talk about because I want to make some points too in this. So you had Holly Holm versus Kayla Harrison. Now, I remember watching Kayla Harrison, and it reminded me of when they had REC back in the day, WEC MMA organization. Uriah Faber came from there, and he was a special fighter at that time. By the time he got to the UFC, he was on that I'm not the same fighter level at that point. And he had some good wins, and he also had losses there. The California kid, Uriah Faber. But people were saying, oh, he's good at REC, but in the UFC, he wouldn't beat anybody. Okay. It's just like when people were saying Showtime fighters wouldn't beat HBO fighters, all this stuff. Okay. Uriah Faber went on, like I said, he won, he lost. But bottom line, Kayla Harrison, okay? I watched her, and she got my respect as a fighter. I said, yeah, this chick could fight. And people were saying, oh man, they don't even throw elbows in PFL. And she was dominating in her division in the PFL. And people were saying they don't even throw elbows over there. PFL fighters couldn't compete with the UFC fighters. The worst UFC fighter will beat the best PFL fighter, all this stuff. And I'm like, people love to just talk and say things. But when the truth comes out, once again, that's what they do. Now, I watched Kayla Harrison. I remember when Clarissa Shields first came to the PFL. People was talking about, oh, she should fight Amanda Nunes. I'm like, Amanda Nunes is not in the PFL. And for one, Shields, why would you put her in there against Amanda Nunes on her first fight? This is people that just want to see the woman lose, that's all. Well, such and such and such and such and such. Shut up. Just because someone did something doesn't mean it was a good idea. And basically, they started alluding to the same shit. But CM Punk came up here and got his ass whooped. And he came to the UFC and was able to do that shit based on his reputation and popularity. They thought that this would be a big money fight. That's all. Same way Brock Lesnar, at least he does have a wrestling background, but he came to the UFC and automatically was in a fight with one of their top guys and became champion on only his third fight. You understand what I'm saying? He lost to Frank Mir, beat Frank Mir, fought Randy Couture, beat Randy Couture, and became world champion. Okay? Now, bottom line is, I watched Kayla Harrison, and I said, when somebody also made a comment about, oh, she should fight Kayla Harrison, and I said, no, she shouldn't fight Kayla Harrison. She's not on that level. Kayla Harrison is the most dominant female fighter in the PFL. And the fact that you want to see Clarissa lose is the only reason you're saying that. Because it's obvious. Clarissa's a novice in this. She's just coming into this. She's not nowhere near as good at MMA as she is at boxing. And only a fool would think so. So why would you put her in there against Kayla Harrison? Same thing with Kimbo Slice. Got all this heat, all this publicity from fighting in the streets. And when he came over and started doing, I forget the promotion he went to first, but it wasn't UFC. But bottom line, and he fought Tank Abbott. And it's like, no, he doesn't need to fight the top guys. He's not that good. He's not skilled at all in MMA. You understand what I mean? So you put him in there with guys that clearly depends on stand-up in MMA. Because once they take him down, he can't fight on his back. He doesn't, and we knew he was limited. But my point is the same stupid mentality. Let's take a guy who's not ready and put him in there with the very best people. Okay. With that being said, people said Kayla Harrison wouldn't be able to beat nobody in the UFC. She's only good in the PFL. Blah, blah, blah. They don't throw elbows in the PFL. All the stuff that they said. And I said, listen, in training, Okay, as an MMA fighter, you practice throwing elbows all the time. Just because you don't throw them, okay, in a certain organization doesn't mean, oh, I'm not good at it. You're just not displaying it then, but you do this in training, so it's not like it's foreign to you. And I said, listen, only time will tell how far someone goes, but Kayla Harrison is no joke. What's funny is someone actually used Holly Holm's name as the person that, oh, she wouldn't beat Holly Holm. And the reason they said that was because Holly Holmes already has 6 losses. She's a veteran. She's been around for a while. Okay. She's the one that beat Ronda Rousey first. And then Amanda Nunes beat Ronda Rousey. And that was when she said, bye-bye, WWE, here I come. Well, Kayla Harrison fought Holly Holm. And one thing about Kayla Harrison is she's strong. She's getting better. I've watched her game improve. In fact, the one loss she has, the weakest part of her game was her stand-up. Now, Holly Holm's strong point is her stand-up. But I'm going to tell you something. See, what I don't like about Holly Holm's style, she leans forward too much. I don't like that shit. She always has her face, her chin is always over her knee. You understand? You watch her fight, she leans forward like this here, and she's hopping around. You understand what I mean? And I'm watching her, and the way she throws her punches in MMA is all arm punches. She doesn't get any power behind them, which is why nobody respects her stand-up. They're more afraid of her head kicks than they are of her punches. You understand what I'm saying? Now, Holly Holmes, she did a good job. She lost fights that you thought she should win. She's won fights. I mean, and she's accomplished in both. So, nothing but respect for her accomplishments. But I said, when I found out that she was fighting Kayla Harrison, I said, I think Kayla's going to destroy Holly Holmes. Now, I'm telling you, Holly Holmes, this hot. Okay. I said plain and simple. Once again, I think Kayla Harrison is going to destroy Holly Holmes. Every reason that I thought she'd destroy her is exactly why she destroyed her. One, like I said, Holly Holmes stand-up. She's here and all her punches are... That's all she does. All arm punches. Right? Nobody's fearing that shit. She comes out first round, and what she does is she's moving. Now, I'm watching Kayla Harrison. She's moving her head. She's coming forward, but she's not coming in a straight line how most MMA fighters do. She's coming in. She's moving her head. She's got it right. And already, I'm watching Holly Holmes on the back foot, but she's not doing anything to really offset Kayla Harrison. She's just moving. And as Kayla gets in closer, whatever little punches are throwing, a little mix up that they're doing. Kayla came in, and it's like when Holly Holmes tried to take her down, she got her down. And what I noticed right off the bat, Kayla Harrison was able to get up so easily. You watch her, she just muscled her way up. I knew Holly Holmes couldn't match power with her. I mean, so they fought at 136 pounds. In all honesty, Kayla Harrison, like she's about maybe 156, 160. She looked like she was, you could see the thickness in the arms, the legs, the thighs, the neck, the shoulder, everything, her back. She's just so much bigger and stronger. And she can fight. Way too powerful for Holly Holmes. When she got up, and I'm watching, and I'm saying, okay, that's usually a sign of desperation. I used to watch fighters do the same thing against Ronda Rousey. They would come in and try to just rush her and think, because Ronda Rousey's stand-up was her weak part of her game. And basically, what Ronda did at the time was foreign to the fighters. That judo shit she was doing, there wasn't that style. She was different to them at that time. And Kayla Harrison is better than Ronda Rousey. Way better. Way better. when I watched Holly Holmes and trying to basically show, hey, I'm here. No, it was desperation. There wasn't no I'm gonna make a statement type of shit like the commentator was. No, it was desperation. She wasn't as confident either on her feet. And I believe, even just looking at the muscularity and everything, I believe she was intimidated. And I'm pretty sure, her being in MMA, she knows who Kayla Harrison is. She studied her. She knows this is a threat. And you see a person pacing back and forth, trying to get the nerves under and get psyched. Yeah, she did all that. And I'm watching and I'm sitting there going, okay, let's see how long this one lasts. Because I really just didn't see Holly Holmes putting up much of a fight. And she didn't. And when she got up and I watched how easily, like I said, how she muscled her way up just easily. Holly Holmes knows. Stand on the outside, right? Working her punches and her kicks. That's her strong point, but she's flawed in it as well. And people see, the thing is, people get to a certain point in their career, people try to, they pay homage, but they're not pointing out what they're doing wrong. When she's leaning forward like this and her knees over her toe, if Kayla Harrison was trained to throw uppercuts, she probably would have knocked her out. You know what I mean? Even just the feint, make her throw that jab so she can lean, bang, and she's wide open and she's leaning forward. So she has nothing to even block the punch, and it's bam, she's gone. But Kayla didn't do that. But anyway, she ends up reversing things. She gets Holmes down. She's on top of her. She's landing some hard punches. She's throwing like elbows down, and Holmes couldn't even do anything. In fact, instead of her trying to use her legs to like spring up and try to get her off where she can get back to her feet, she squirms back into the cage. Now her head is here. She can't go anywhere. And Kayla and she's on top of her, bam, she's just raining down. Now, even though she's blocking some of them, she's moving, and Holmes is trying to fight off her back. She's throwing shots here and there. And then, Kayla Harrison, wrapped up. She's squeezing her. She's using her size and her strength to wear down Holmes. Holmes looked uncomfortable. Now, the bell sounds when they go to the corner. What I didn't understand about Holmes' corner was they told her that Kayla Harrison is tiring herself out. She's wearing herself out now. She's tired. And I'm like, tiring herself out? What do you mean? She's pouncing on Holmes. And Holmes is the one trying to fight off of her back. So if anybody's going to really be tired, it's the one taking the punishment. Second round comes, and the same thing. She comes out, and it's Kayla Harrison who throws her head kick, bam, and makes her get back, and then she gets her down again. When she gets on her this time, once she gets that mount, rear naked chokehold, instantly she tapped. Too strong, too big, too skilled. And I'm like, yeah, Kayla Harrison has arrived. She's here. Where she goes from here, we'll see. But I wanted to do this video because, see, this is what I mean about people. You guys, I don't care what sport it is, people love to tell you who they like as if they're going to win just because they like that fighter. I don't care if you like the UFC more than you like the PFL. I don't care if you don't like the PFL at all. How do you think the UFC scouts talent, or the PFL, or Bellator? That's where Kimbo went, Bellator. But how do you think they scout talent? What do you think? They just sit up in the office, somebody, yeah, I'm Kayla Harrison, I want to sign a contract with the UFC. Oh, we never heard of you. No, they know who these fighters are. They watch each brand. That's what businessmen and women do. That's what they know who these fighters are. So when I seen this, I wasn't shocked at all. For the people that reacted so shockingly, this is why I say it. I'm willing to bet you the majority of the people saying Holly Holmes is going to win don't even know who Kayla Harrison is. And I'm talking from a fan standpoint, because if you've been watching them both fight, you know Kayla Harrison is no joke. But because she fights under a different banner in the PFL at that time, all of a sudden now, she can't beat Holly Holm because Holly Holm is in the UFC. Newsflash. She has 6 losses, okay? Let's say they cut Holly Holm and Holm goes to the PFL or Bellator or another company, right? Another company, if they accept her, they would say she's a veteran, she's done this, she's done that, and right? If you have a locker room full of underdeveloped fighters, and say Holly Holmes went there and dominated, that doesn't do much for your brand because everybody's seen her 7 losses now. So for her to go somewhere and dominate would just mean that they're not that good. I promise you, Holly Holmes could not go to the PFL and dominate. There are several women there that would destroy Holly Holmes the same way. So when you're looking at who's who, based on skill level alone, you can make a prediction and still be wrong. Okay, and you can be far off the mark. But you'll be much closer to that mark when you're going by skill level alone and being honest and not biased. When you're going by who you like more, you will more than likely be off the mark many times. Especially when it's just, I like this fighter, and this fighter already has multiple losses. And when you look at the people that has beaten her, Holly Holmes is a good fighter, okay? She's not the fighter she used to be, and even at best, after she beat Ronda Rousey, she lost her very next fight. So what I'm saying, it doesn't matter. You know, Miesha Tate was a good fighter, okay? But limitations are limitations, okay? And, you know, when you see a fighter, when Holly Holmes was a boxer, okay, I remember watching her fight. You know, and she was decent, man. You know, I never seen her as no great fighter. She was decent. One of the things when you watch a fighter, you watch her technique now versus when she was boxing. This shit right here doesn't work in boxing, okay? This is that video game shit. You know how they have the 2 characters facing each other and they're doing this shit and they get the start button and shit, right? Okay, she's doing this. Look at the fucking, okay, so from here, I don't know if you can see the opening, but she's doing this right here, okay? Look at how fucking far apart my hands are. So this is what she's doing. You understand what I'm saying? So if well, I'm coming from the southpaw stance, but just say, okay, so if Holly Holmes, if Kayla Harrison had of like even just fainted, you know, and like stepped forward, she stepped forward. You know what's gonna happen? She's gonna do this shit, and she's gonna, right? Because that's what she's doing. Now look what my hand is, and look how open I am. That's what she's doing. If Kayla Harrison would have, you know, just fainted, step forward, as soon as she throw that jab, she just lean, bang. You understand? It was there, but they're not boxers. Also, probably why she does that shit and she's here is in case the opponent shoots at her, she's already high enough to where she can sprawl. That's another reason why they do that shit. But I'm watching her and I'm just like, nah. I just felt it in my gut before. I'm talking once I got word. So I watched the card. I watched the prelims. I watched the whole card, and I ain't gonna lie, not so much that it was boring. I was sleepy, y'all. I'm watching both back and forth. And a couple of times I snoozed off. I had to get up. So I started shadow boxing as I'm watching, you know, whatever the events and shit. I'm in here, you know, right in front of my big TV. But bottom line, y'all, I made this video because I wanted to make the point. It doesn't matter if you like a fighter or not, okay? Skill is skill. You want one fighter to win so bad that you start trying to make points against another fighter. Well, if she couldn't throw elbows in the PFL and all these limitations that you put on her to say why she wasn't going to beat Holmes and Holmes fought the better competition, all these things you guys said, what happened? Why was the fight so easy? You know, at the end of the fight, she went and embraced her. She had a little prayer. And and was saying she's thankful for her because Holly Holmes inspired so many female fighters, including herself, and things of that nature, and that's all good. But the bottom line is, like I said, you guys underestimate people based on the brand that they're at, but you overlook the competition. There was a time the UFC didn't want Chris Cyborg. Why? Because Chris Cyborg is not eye candy. She was no Ronda Rousey as far as being eye candy. You know, she was no Gina Carano as far as being eye candy. She defeats Gina Carano and sent her into retirement. But they didn't want to sign her. The WWE was like that at one point. Remember, they was doing all this bra and panties match. The first woman to get stripped to their bra and panties lose. No, they wanted eye candy. They didn't care if you really could wrestle because they didn't take women's wrestling seriously. You understand what I'm saying? So no, if you could wrestle your ass off, but you wasn't what they call to see as attractive, they didn't want you. You understand what I'm saying? So it was a similar thing. They didn't see Chris Cyborg as being eye candy, and they overlooked her. And they tried to talk like Ronda Rousey was better than her and all of this type of stuff. This is why later on, someone like Amanda Nunes and so many other women now, you look at them and you don't have to focus on their looks, but you know, you look at them and know that there's nothing special about their looks. You understand what I'm saying? Why? It's a different day and time now. So now Kayla Harrison comes in here, big, strong, solid. And I'm telling you guys, she looked like she rehydrated up a lot. Like she looked, you know, much thicker, much heavier, and I already knew she was way stronger. But Kayla Harrison, you guys can look and say, yeah, but well, okay, well, she did it, but those other women won't. I don't know what it is with people. They pick something in their head, and whatever you like is the only thing good. Everything else sucks. Everything else is not the same. You know, just like I said, I made the comparison when people talked about they thought HBO fighters that fought on HBO were better than the guys on Showtime. But then what happens when the guy comes from Showtime and HBO and whoop that ass? Then you want to make excuses or get upset or just act like it's just immaturity, man. It's just real immature people. So Kayla Harrison is no pushover. She takes this fighting thing seriously, and I've never seen her show up and not look like she really wanted to be there. And she's 17-1 now. Okay, Kayla Harrison is a real deal fighter. Now you guys know. So don't start now saying Holly Holmes is a bum or Holly Holmes let us down or we thought or don't start this shit now. Even with her 6 losses, y'all still thought that she was better than Kayla. Now, not saying you can have losses and still be a solid fighter. You just fought people that were just better. Okay, so if you're in a division where it's just deep, and we know the UFC, yeah, they're deep in their divisions, man. But Kayla Harrison is a real deal fighter. She beat Holly Holmes the way she was supposed to. And we see where things go from here. Now, should Kayla Harrison end up being like the top woman in that division, what are you going to say then? Are you going to hate her because she initially came from PFL? She wasn't homegrown in the UFC? It's just so stupid. I don't understand this mentality that people have. I just don't. I love PlayStation, therefore every Xbox game sucks. Every Nintendo Switch game sucks. I love the WWE, therefore AEW sucks. Impact Wrestling sucks. Every other federation sucks because I love the WWE. This is what you guys do. It's like she won the fight, and the thing was, I'm watching the fight, and again, start reading comments after the end. I mean, it's like, what is all the hatred? I really don't understand you guys. What is all of the hatred, man? When you win, you win. You lose, you lose. You guys support stupidity. You support big mouth people. You support arrogant people, egotistical people that just run their mouth. The Jack Perrys of the world, the Jake Pauls of the world, the people that just got mouth. But when they get their asses handed to them, it's because of this and because of that. And look, Kayla Harrison did what she had to do. And look, salute to her and Holly Holmes. Holly Holmes, you can't discredit her for what she's accomplished. She did what she did. Okay? But once again, like I said, I don't care how far back you go, I've always seen the holes in her game. When she beat Ronda Rousey, she didn't become an overnight sensation. All of a sudden, she's the new Ronda. No, like I told you before, Bivol beating Canelo. He's not the new household name. No. Same with Amanda Nunes. She beat her, and Amanda Nunes was the best in the division for a long time. But at the same time, it's like in terms of popularity, when you see her face, everybody knows. No, none of them reached that pedestal that Ronda Rousey did. But that has nothing to do with it in terms of what happens in the ring. So no, you don't see Amanda Nunes on covers of magazines in her bra and panties or bikinis and doing photo shoots and all of that. You don't see Kayla Harrison doing all of that, right? But in terms of the ability in that cage, that's what it comes down to. So people pick and choose. They're always going to do that nonsense. But it's like, you can like who you like. But yeah, I've been watching Kayla Harrison for the longest. So now for the people that don't know who I'm talking about, yeah, that's the person people were saying Shields should fight her since if she thinks she's all that. Like, man, shut up. In boxing, in a boxing ring, okay, would you suggest Kayla Harrison come to boxing and the first person she fights is Clarissa Shields? No, you wouldn't. So why the hell would you think Clarissa Shields is supposed to go into a cage and I'm going to fight the very best woman here? No, there's no need for that. Okay, but anyway, Holly did. She brought what she had. The things that she should have been doing, the nerves got to her. She realized what she was up against, and I'm believe me, if us sitting here watching the fight, we could notice the massiveness, the size of this woman, the muscularity. She's in front of Holly Holm. I mean, if you didn't see the fight and you're interested in watching the fight, that's on you. But watch it. If you don't, you don't. You see the size difference, and it's like they came in both 136 pounds come fight night, but she rehydrated way more than Holly Holm did. You can see it, but it's not only because she's bigger and stronger. She knows how to use that size and that strength. She's skillful, man. Now, on when she had her down, there's always things that you can improve on. But what I do like about Kayla Harrison too is she don't depend on solely her power and strength. She does try to put everything together to be as complete as she possibly can. And, is that to say that there's nobody that's going to beat her? I don't know that. You understand what I mean? But in the UFC, she's 17-1 now. But bottom line is, she shut all you guys' mouth with this nonsense about she couldn't beat the worst fighter in the UFC. Because Holly Holm definitely isn't the worst. But she's not the best, but she got destroyed. And she tapped out with it. Boom. She locked that rear naked choke in, and she's so strong, and she wrenched back, wrenched back on her neck like that, and that she tapped right away. And it's all credit to Kayla Harrison, okay? Because when your opponent gets in your head that you can't do the things that you normally would do, the things that you should do, is because of what they are doing. It's she had a bad night, none of that. Kayla Harrison got in her head. Kayla Harrison is a better fighter. That's why she won. And Kayla Harrison, I want to see her do great things in the UFC. Like, I want to see her be able. It's all about the fights. I don't care about however much money she make. That's all their thing. And when I say great thing, I want to see great fights. I'm rooting for her. This is what I'm saying. I'm pulling for her to win. Always, from the first time I seen her fight, I remember saying, "Yeah, this chick can fight, man." And of course, like me, I like to watch a fight and enjoy it. Do I notice certain things? Of course, I observe all this, what they're good at, what they're not good at, things like that. And I always seen her as a very solid fighter. But once again, and let me say, I even heard Kayla Harrison's cornerman tell her, you can fight with her a little bit. You can mix it up with her. Then take her down and get her out of here. Okay? Simple. And you probably saw the same things I saw. Because even though she see all that jittery, they're doing all this, you know what I'm saying? You're leaning way over here. That's an amateur mistake in boxing. And even in MMA, people say, but no, you need to be back here where you can catch shots. You can move and parry, and you can let your shit go. Because see, what people do, if you watch most MMA fighters, they do this shit. Okay? So aside from the jab, they like to pull back. If you just simply let your hands go, you understand what I'm saying? And you're moving, because those shots are not going to hurt. You know what I'm saying? You just simply, you understand what I'm saying? Those are not going to hurt. But them shots will, I'm not even looking. You understand what I'm saying? Those shots will easily, you understand what I'm saying? You don't have to turn. But you're on your feet moving already. Those are setup shots. Those are blinding shots. She wasn't doing that shit. You understand what I'm saying? She's leaning here, but she's, you know, she wasn't snapping that shit. That shit wasn't, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't fluid. It wasn't. And when you're doing all this here, to switch on your feet the way you need to, you can't. All that extra unnecessary movement. So Kayla Harrison was more, you know what I mean? Yeah. And her arm movement was simply because she's not giving you something clear to look at. You understand what I mean? It's like you're going down a road, but you have those mountains on the side, and just like those boulders are coming across. So your car can't go straight through. You gotta maneuver around those boulders. That's what she was doing. Her technique was better than everything. So just wanted to talk about that because I do like Kayla Harrison as a fighter. In fact, she's the reason that I started watching the PFL. Straight up. So now she's in the UFC, but I will continue to watch the PFL because I watch everything. I watch one championship. I watch everything. Everything that I can possibly see. You know, so anyway, for those who know who I'm talking about, comment if you want. If not, that's cool. But I wanted to make this video and get this out of here. Stop sleeping on people because of the organization that they're in, or because you don't know them, or you hear about them and then you say, oh, she's only successful because she's in the PFL. She wouldn't beat nobody in the UFC. Well, she just shut you guys up. Give the woman her props, man. You know, I like real deal fighters. I'm not with all this, you know, oh, she's funny, she talks a lot of shit, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about all that nonsense. She's respectful of her opponents. She comes to fight, and she hasn't shown to be intimidated by any fighter so far. So we'll see where she go from here, but I always like watching Kayla Harrison fight. And if you didn't see the fight, you go watch her old PFL fights, you'll see. The chick could fight, so out of stupidity and immaturity, it just makes no sense as to why people were saying she wouldn't beat anybody in the UFC. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.